Time now for Inside Utah Politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics, and we do begin today with Melva Sine. She is with the Utah Restaurant Association. Melva, great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Glenn.
Let's get right into the pandemic impact. The industry has really been hit hard. Talk about and give us a picture of the overall impact on the industry here in Utah.
Okay, so to start with, prior to the pandemic, the restaurant industry in the state of Utah had $6.5 billion worth of sales in 2019. This year we will have losses of $2.8 billion up and through September. So we still have October, November, and December to count into that, but it has been crushing for the industry.
Yeah, it's been so bad that we've seen community staples that have been around for decades closing the doors.
Yes, it's hit the catering industry hard, who depends on events and large gatherings. It has crushed restaurants who have been in business for years, 40 years. We're losing restaurants that have been, our favorites and who we turn to and have been around for 40 years. And it's a sad tale that these people have spent their entire lives, and now they're losing their business. Canella's
would be an example, Red Butte would be another, and there are so many more. The restaurant industry really tried to mobilize and make some adjustments to make things safe. Talk about what's being done in area restaurants to make sure that people are able to come in safe when they do come in for indoor dining.
So Glenn, the restaurant industry is the second most regulated industry in America. And so we have always had sanitizing and all of the cleaning and wearing gloves and doing those types of things. That has always been a standard for the restaurant industry. Once the pandemic was upon us, everything was enhanced. So sanitizing wasn't occurring every 4 hours, it was occurring after every customer. People are wearing gloves, people are washing their hands. These have always been staples in the restaurant industry. So it's all enhanced, and it's a constant ongoing measure. Masks, everyone is wearing masks, whether they're in the front of the house or the back of the house.
What are you seeing in regards to people being willing to come dine in, or those who are just ordering takeout? What are you seeing there? Explain that to us.
Well, so prior to the pandemic, it was estimated that there would be a large trending towards takeout and delivery as we see third-party delivery companies develop and grow in the state. And so that was already going to be a trending pattern and part of our growth for 2020. However, now people have turned to that to survive, and so it's not just a trending, it will be ongoing. So takeout, curbside delivery, all of those will be a part of the regular restaurant scene after the pandemic is over.
You make the argument that dining in may be even more safe than eating at home. Explain that.
Yeah, and so when we talk about public spaces, a restaurant is a public space, and so we follow all of the guidelines that are being put out by the health departments throughout the state, as well as the Utah State Health Department. So if they say 6-foot distancing, we 6-foot distance. If they say wear masks, we wear masks, whatever guidelines they're giving. And so that doesn't always occur in a person's home. You don't always sanitize as much as you should. You don't necessarily wear masks. You certainly may not 6-foot distance. And so when you're at home, some of these, we let our guard down a little bit. When you're out in the community and out enjoying a meal in a restaurant, we're helping you to comply and have a safe experience while you're in our restaurants.
Still, people look at that and say, you know what, at this time, it's just not a risk I'm willing to take. As far as data goes, what are we seeing in restaurants when it comes to the spread of COVID-19?
So by the numbers, Glenn, Utah was trending upwards. So we had, as of the end of April, we were from 109,000 employees down to 63,000 employees. And after we opened up in May, right after Mother's Day, then restaurants started to build back. And by the end of September, 1st of October, we were back to 93,000 employees. So by the numbers, people want to go out and enjoy a dining experience. And the fact that we were able to increase our numbers that quickly was amazing.
But as far as spread taking place in restaurants of the virus, what do you know there?
So data-wise, from what we've seen and what is being announced for New York is 1.43% of all of the cases may come from restaurants. We've not seen data or figures in the state of Utah that indicate that the restaurant industry has anything to do with the spread of COVID, and that all of the guidance that we are following is helping to make sure that that does not occur in the restaurant industry.
Let's talk about some potential solutions to help struggling business owners stay afloat. One would be the COVID relief bill. At time of recording, it was in limbo after the president came out and said he was not willing to sign it as is. What's your thought on this particular bill? Is it a good thing for the restaurant industry?
So it's not an end-all, because we need much more help than what this will provide. But this is a very strong bridge to help us survive till we can get to the next level of our need. When you've lost $2.8 billion and upwards, then you need a lot of assistance. It's not something restaurants want to ask for, assistance, but it's something that's absolutely necessary now if we're going to see the industry survive and grow.
And what about on a local level? Are there things that you're pushing for that could potentially change that might be able to help out in this situation?
So we asked for a relief fund clear back in April. We have not seen at the state level a relief fund for the restaurant industry at large, and so we're still asking and pushing and helping legislators to understand that there is a process here that we need their involvement with funding to help keep the spark going, to help keep these restaurants with hope and encouragement that they can get through this.
Another thing that I noticed you were pushing for were alcohol-to-go sales. How could that potentially impact the industry?
Yes, so people enjoy having a beverage when they have a meal in our restaurants, and so being able to provide that to them, whether they're in their home and ordering or picking up or doing takeout, would actually put dollars in the pockets of our restaurant owners. So you see many restaurants and bars right now who are selling mixed drinks without the alcohol, just so that they prepare the mixer, they prepare everything for you, and you just get it home and then add the alcohol of your choice. But that's not an end-all for us, and that's not a cure. What we need to be able to do is sell alcohol so that we have actual dollars coming in.
Mm-hmm. So you already mentioned that you believe takeout is going to be a big part of the restaurant industry, even post-pandemic. But what are some other things that might stick? Do you think that some of these increased sanitation guidelines will continue to stick after the pandemic as well?
Well, as I say, they were here before, so we've enhanced them, and I think that enhancement will stay. You will see people sanitize more frequently, more often. They'll continue to have hand sanitizer available in their restaurants for consumers and patrons to use. Employees are encouraged to wash your hands, then use the hand sanitizer. These are all policies that have been a part of the restaurant industry with the Food and Drug Administration guidelines.
Okay, Melva Sign with the Utah Restaurant Association. I know that industry's been hit very hard by this pandemic. Thanks for the conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn.
Coming up.